Joining us now is Senator Mike Lee, a Republican from Utah. He serves on the Judiciary Committee. I know you pay a lot of attention to the court. There's one other thing that he talked about. Justice Breyer was warning against court packing. Watch this.
Party could do it, I guess another party could do it. And the more thing, I mean, it's fairly surface. On the surface, it seems to me, you start changing all these things around and people will lose trust in the court.
And Senator, the newest justice, Amy Coney Barrett, said this, that my goal today is to convince you that this court is not comprised of a bunch of partisan hacks. So the court, once again, trying to just lower the temperature on any changes there.
Yeah, I agree strongly with Justice Breyer. He's absolutely right. And for that matter, I agree with what then Senator Biden said many decades ago when referring to FDR's plan to pack the Supreme Court of the United States as a boneheaded idea. I agree with the late Ruth Bader Ginsberg, who was a Supreme Court justice, said that it would also be a terrible move. Look, there's good reason why we insulate the federal court system, which, despite its faults, is, I believe, the best of its kind anywhere in the world, because we insulate it from political decision making, with the exception of the process by which we choose and confirm them. Once they're in place, they're insulated. They serve presumptive lifetime terms. But when you move to change the composition of the court, not because there aren't enough personnel to handle the job, but in order to change the political outcome of decisions they make, you're reversing that central feature in the Constitution that makes our court system unique and very valuable.
Come back to this comment from Justice Barrett here. She talked about judicial philosophy. She was there for an event in Louisville with Mitch McConnell. Why do you think she felt compelled to offer that opinion?
Well, it's correct, and it's also one of the most misunderstood features of the Supreme Court. Very often people assume when looking at the Supreme Court that everything is decided 5-4 or otherwise along partisan lines, reflecting the party affiliation of the president nominating them to the court. Simply isn't true. The overwhelming majority of cases are not decided 5-4. In fact, the overwhelming majority of them, the most common formulation is either 9-0 or 8-1 or 7-2. Most Americans don't see this because it's not talked about very much in the news media. In part, I suspect, because the left really wants to maintain this narrative that the Supreme Court does, in fact, consist of a bunch of partisan hacks, which simply isn't true. But I think they think that this will help them to pack the court, which would be an absolute disaster.